What is up, everybody? What is up? What is up? What is up? How's everybody doing? It is Tuesday at the time that I'm filming this. It's pretty late. It's been a very busy week. I was trying to film a video yesterday, but I got off of work at like 8 o'clock, so I was not really in the mood to film a video when I got home, to be honest. So apologies for that, but I'm back today with a week 2 recap for the NFL. Thought it was a pretty good week. Some pretty good games, some okay games overall. So let's just hop right into it. So first we have Packers Panthers. First thing I'm gonna say, holy defense. We're going to the Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding. But maybe I'm not. Who's to say? The defense looked great for the Packers. Held the Commanders to only under 20 points. That Micah Parsons or Sean Gary, Edrin Cooper kind of dynamic looks really good. I am somewhat concerned about what will happen when teams who have a really strong interior running game play the Packers. But that's a concern for another day. Offense also looked pretty good. It's tough about Jane Reed, but I believe he broke his collarbone, so he'll be out for a couple weeks at least. I think it was like 6 or 7, which is pretty tough, but at least it's not something that's career-altering like an ACL or Achilles or something like that. Where I think a collarbone is pretty tame. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's not as severe for like a professional athlete as say something like that. Really need to get Matthew Golden going. I think he only had a couple of targets or a couple of receptions. Jordan Love missed him on a couple of deep balls that should have been touchdowns. Disappointing, but I think we'll get there. I think that connection and that chemistry will work out over time. Tucker Kraft is currently our wide receiver number 1. Love that guy. I love tight ends in general. I think that's the best. Pause. Actually, that's crazy. I think that's the best position. They're just chill guys that love to play football. They do it all. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Jaden Daniels, bit of a sophomore slump. I think teams and defenses have figured him out a little bit. But I think he's still good. They just need to figure it out a little bit more. So Packers ended up winning 27-18 over the Commanders for the Thursday night game. Continuing on, Browns-Ravens. I thought this was honestly a slower game up until the fourth quarter, where the Ravens put 21 points on the Browns. The Ravens only had 45 total rushing yards, which I thought was crazy. There was that 61-yard pick, which was pretty nice. Even though it was fairly slow, they didn't put the points up until the last quarter. It was still a dominant showing by the Ravens. Joe Flacco throwing 45 times is not going to cut it. I should say 45-year-old Joe Flacco throwing 45 times is not going to do it, unfortunately. Ravens ended up winning 41-17 over the Browns. Jaguars, Bengals. This game was interesting, I would say. It was a little bit closer than I thought it would be. There was a little bit of a back and forth, a little bit of a shootout going on. Burrow got hurt again. That I don't want to talk against players getting their money, which they deserve for putting their bodies and their brains on the line. But when you have 3 players taking up like do they need an offensive line? For the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence looked okay. I mean, I think he's not going to be special in the NFL, despite everyone's hopes that he would be from when he was still in Clemson. I think it's both a combination of who he is throwing to and who's on his team, as well as just how he plays. There's been a lot of drops. You can argue whether or not they were, not catchable, but they've been a lot of drops. That's all I'm going to say. I still am not a huge Trevor Lawrence fan, but that's just me. Alright, next game. Bengals ended up winning 31-27 in what turned out to be a lot closer of a game. Giants Cowboys. This game was crazy. Genuinely crazy. I watched this game start to finish. Danger Russ Wilson was back for about 3.5 quarters. He was dangerous until he was not. He had that awful pick. Oh my god, it was terrible to end the game, pretty much. That overtime was crazy. That was a back and forth. I could not believe the ending of the actual regulation times. Like the fourth quarter was crazy. Every single time where I was like, you know what, the Giants aren't gonna do this. They're at like the 45. It's like 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 12. Russell Wilson scrambling. He chucks it downfield. I'm like, no way. Malik Neighbors is there to catch the freaking ball in the end zone. Or, what's his name? Robinson. I was like, no way. Like, this is insane. It reminded me of, oh god, what was the Seahawks guy? Well, they had Tate, and then they had, Lockett. Oh my god, those guys pissed me off. I remember when they were, oh my god, it was so annoying. I was begging the entire game for a CeeDee Lamb touchdown. I had a 5-leg parlay where the only leg that was incomplete was CeeDee Lamb. And it went to overtime, and they had multiple possessions in overtime, and he still did not score a touchdown. It was tough. For a game that was all offense, no defense, for CeeDee Lamb not to score a touchdown is criminal. Crazy. But the Cowboys do have a kicker that they need to sign to a lifetime extension. Like Aubrey, I think his last name is. Dude has ice in his veins. Like, genuinely ice in his veins. His field goals were, it was like 44, 52, 61, and 64 yards in one game. That's insane. And they were all, like, impactful kicks. They weren't, like, in the first quarter, like, meaningless. They were all in crunch time. The dude's got a future on the Cowboys and a future in the league. The Cowboys ended up winning 40-37 in overtime. A super fun game to watch. Bears-Lions. I watched this game for probably like 30 or so minutes, and it was not close, but it wasn't like a total blowout. And then I checked back like 30 minutes later, and the Lions had put 52 points on the Bears defense, and I just remember being like, oof, 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 oof. That's tough. It's kind of what I thought, though, what would happen, because the Lions kind of got embarrassed by the Packers in week 1. And, I mean, 52 points coming off of a game where they did not look good against the Packers is a decent showing. Goff, I mean, his stats off the game were crazy. He was 23 of 28 for 5 touchdowns. And on top of those 5 passing touchdowns, they had 2 rushing touchdowns. Like, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. Caleb Williams, So I will say, it's a tough game for him to play in because you have the Lions coming off of an embarrassing Week 1 loss, and they're playing a worse team that's a divisional team that they know they can kind of slap around a bit, which they did. So he didn't look as bad as I thought he would against this defense, and it's also a really tough game to come out and play. Let me put it this way, right? I've seen better quarterbacks than him put up worse numbers and a worse performance. So I'm not like overly disappointed in how he performed or how the Bears performed. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, they got killed. They lost by 29 points. Or, no, sorry, 31 points. I had that flip. 31 points. That's bad. That's a blowout. But, you know, he's learning. He's still a young player. Like, you gotta give him time. Otherwise, like, what's the point of drafting people, you know? But yeah, so Lions over Bears 51-21. Or 52-21, sorry. Next game, Patriots and Dolphins. I don't have a lot to say about this game, to be honest, other than for what the Patriots roster looks like currently, they look pretty good. I like Will Campbell. I like his attitude. I like their quarterback. I like their defense. The Dolphins, they looked better than they did in Week 1, but they're a mess. They are a complete and utter mess. There's no other way to word it. I think McDaniels is going to be gone by the end of the season. I think Tyreek is going to be traded by the end of the season. Tua is just lost constantly in their offensive drives. Like they are just not looking like a good team. So Patriots won 33-27 in what was a close game. It went back and forth, but I never really doubted the Patriots to win. Or I never really doubted that the Patriots would win over the Dolphins, just because I don't trust the Dolphins to win, which is tough, but like, that's just the way it is right now, you know? The 49ers and Saints. To be honest, I did not really watch much of this game. When I was looking at the stat lines for both quarterbacks, they looked good. I mean, they were like good stats. Like both Spencer Rattler and Mac Jones was playing for the 49ers. They were really good. Let me just see if I can pull it up real quick. Sorry, give me 1 second. Yeah, so Spencer Rattler, he was 25 of 34 for 3 touchdowns and 207 yards. Mac Jones was 26 of 39 for 279 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, so that's pretty good. It was a fairly close game, but in the end, the 49ers ended up winning 26-21 over the Saints. Rams-Titans. You know, again, didn't really watch much of this game. I didn't think it was going to be all that. You know, I didn't really think there was going to be a lot to watch here. I thought, from what I did see, the Titans' defense looked pretty good against what looks to be a pretty solid Rams offense. My one question for this game is pretty much on the Rams, where you have a lot of offensive weapons, and I feel like sooner or later you're going to have to establish a very clear pecking order. I'm a Packers fan. I know Devontae Adams got accustomed to being a wide receiver 1 in Green Bay, in Las Vegas, as well as in New York. You gotta figure that out. That's my only concern with them, is not that I think like Devontae Adams has like an attitude problem or anything like that. That's not what I mean at all. I just mean like you gotta establish who's gonna get the targets, right? Because otherwise there's gonna be some issues. But I thought the Rams looked pretty good. They ended up winning 33-19 over the Titans. Cam Ward, I thought, was good enough for this game for his first season, second game overall. So not a whole lot to complain about there. Next game, Bills-Jets. I did not expect the Jets to continue off of their Week 1 performance against the Steelers. The Bills are not the Steelers. They're much better. I'm sorry to Steelers fans, but that's just the way it is. So, James Cook had a day. Josh Allen played pretty decent. Not he didn't put up a ton of numbers, but I thought he still played pretty well. The Jets, I will say, even though they lost by 20, they honestly outperformed my expectations. So I don't hate what they did. I don't think that they're going to be a spectacular team this year. I don't think that they're going to be a terrible team this year. I think they're probably going to be about average, maybe a little bit below average, because they have some stuff to figure out. But I think that overall they're looking pretty decent for what their team is right now. I just think that the Bills are too good for a team like the Jets to come in and try and compete for a win there. So the Bills over the Jets, 30-10. Seahawks Steelers. This game was pretty wild, actually. I actually took the Steelers to win this game. I did not think the Seahawks were going to look very good. It ended up that the Seahawks actually looked pretty decent. I thought their defense especially, across both teams really, the defense and special teams was more of the story, right, than the offense was. The Steelers had a kind of a messed up return that ended up being a touchdown for the Seahawks, which was kind of the turning point of the game, at least from my opinion. I felt like it was fairly close up until that point, and then the energy was just gone. So once I saw that, I was like, yeah, we can probably turn it off. I don't really have faith in the Steelers to win this one. So the Seahawks ended up winning 31-17 over the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers didn't look super great, I will say. I think he had a touchdown and 2 picks, which isn't fantastic. Not a very regular or average Aaron Rodgers game, but it is what it is. Broncos Colts. This was a pretty entertaining game, I thought. I really like both of these teams this year. The Broncos defense looked pretty solid. Bo Nix looked a lot better in week 2 than he did in week 1, which I was happy about. The Colts offense is honestly so much better than I thought it was. Jonathan Taylor is everywhere, literally everywhere. And then Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones. Man's a star. He's gonna be MVP this year. No, I'm just kidding. There's no way. But yeah, really fun game. It was pretty close too. It kind of came down to the last minute there. But in the end, the Colts ended up beating the Broncos 29-28 to get the W. Next game, Panthers Cardinals. I did not watch this game much. So what I can tell you is that from a stats perspective, kind of after the game, post-game, Bryce Young's stats looked pretty good. Carolina put up 22 points, and Kyler Murray looked decent enough. They put up 27. I don't because I feel like the Panthers are good enough to put up some points on some teams, whereas the Cardinals can put up points on pretty much any team, but can't stop other teams from putting points on them. So it's just kind of an interesting matchup. I don't think either of these teams, and I know people have kind of commented about the Cardinals and specifically, I trust their offense a lot more than their defense, and I'm definitely someone who believes that defense wins championships. So I don't know how much I buy into the Cardinals. I can't see them being more than a 500 team, to be honest, and I don't think the Panthers are going to be winning more than 3 games this year. Maybe. I could be wrong, but from what I'm seeing now, I don't really see a whole lot of hope there. Yeah. So, anyways, the Cardinals ended up winning 27-22 over the Panthers. Next game is the Eagles and Chiefs. I don't have a ton to say about this game, to be honest. I didn't think it was like the most entertaining of games. I'd actually watched this for my friend's birthday. We had gone out downtown to watch it. He's an Eagles fan, and I told him that I couldn't root for the Eagles to win 2 weeks in a row, so I would root for the Chiefs to lose. That was what I said to him, which he was fine with. He was like, as long as the Chiefs lose, I don't really give a shit who you root for, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah, to be honest, I never really thought the Chiefs would win this game. I thought the Eagles' defense looked pretty good. Jalen Carter didn't look great. I don't know. He looked kind of slow, but that's just my opinion, I guess. Yeah, the Chiefs, I just feel like their offense just drags. Like, they just did not look good, to be honest. Sorry, there's sirens in the back. I don't know if you can hear that. Again, I live in New York, so it's kind of comes with the territory a bit. But yeah, Eagles ended up beating the Chiefs 20-17, and it was close, but I didn't really have, I didn't have confidence in the Chiefs to win this game. Moving on to the Sunday night game, the Falcons and the Vikings. I had this game on for the first quarter, and then I kind of turned it off, to be honest. I ended up playing college football 25. Or NCAA 25, sorry. This game was just all about field goals, to be honest. Like, I think there was like 7 total field goals, which it was fine, but J.J. McCarthy really struggled. Michael Penix was also not looking fantastic. I still like Michael Penix, and I still am cautiously optimistic about J.J. McCarthy. I thought the Falcons overall, looked really solid. They handled the Vikings, who are a pretty good team all around, outside of quarterback. So, that was interesting to see. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. Bijan Robinson is a dude. I mean, that guy, he can run the friggin' ball. But yeah, at the end of the day, Falcons ended up winning 22-6 in what was not a super entertaining game to watch, to be honest. Moving on to the Monday night games, we had what I thought was one of the best games so far of the entire NFL season. The Bucs and Texans. Baker is the dude. This man is meditating on the sidelines, psyching himself up, zoning in. He walks out on the field, walks away with a touchdown. What a guy. Really like Baker on the Bucs. Oh my God, it is pure cinema to watch this man work. I feel like the Browns are just shooting themselves right now just because they're like, oh my god, I can't believe we let this guy go. But the Browns will be the Browns, unfortunately, which I feel for their fans incredibly. Like, oh my god, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What else did I have to say about this game? Emeka Egbuka. I think he has like 4 touchdowns through 2 weeks, which is pretty good. I think he's going to be a budding star for them this year, which is exciting. Texans, even though it was a close game, CJ Stroud still struggled, man. Like, I don't know. Like, if they gotta get him an offensive line, they gotta get him more weapons. They gotta do something. He's gotta develop a little bit more. I don't know. But yeah, something just looks off with that offense. Even though they were up until like the very last, few minutes of the game, they just look off, which is it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, Buccaneers ended up winning off that game-winning drive by Baker Mayfield, 20-19 over the Texans. The last game of week 2 was the Chargers over the Raiders. I said it every single video so far for this season, and I'll say it again. I think the Chargers are going to be good this year. They're my dark horse team. Like, I got them. I got them in the AFC. I truly think that they're going to be the AFC West winner for this year. They're going to be the AFC West champion. I'm excited for it. They look good. I think they look good. Justin Herbert was looking solid. I was pretty happy with their offense. Their defense looked pretty good too. Their secondary was picking off Geno Smith, though I don't know how much that has to do with their secondary versus Geno Smith's decision making. He was throwing the ball into a lot of coverage. I will say. So that was interesting. He was like, I think 2 of the picks he was scrambling, and then all of a sudden he just like launches the ball like 40 yards and like towards the end zone into a body, or into a pile of bodies. Just like what are you doing? Like the game was still close at that point, right? Like, the game finished fairly close, not super close, but like close enough. Yeah, I don't know. Geno Smith's got a reel in those interceptions, but Ashton Genty looked good. The Silver Surfer is improving each week, which I'm happy about. I really liked him in college. People were just bouncing off him. He was like spinning everywhere. He's a super elusive runner. So it was fun to watch. But yeah. So that's week 2. Chargers ended up winning 20-9 over the Raiders. Let me know if there were any surprises. Let me know if you had any bets that won. I ended up making a couple $100 this weekend off of not a lot of bets, because I did some smaller parlays that paid off pretty well for me. So yeah, let me know if your team won. Let me know who your team is, who you're rooting for. Yeah, I'm going to be making a week 3 predictions video probably sometime this week. That'll put out probably Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. What else? Yeah, I don't think there's anything else, to be honest. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Leave a comment, leave a like if you want. Yeah, let me know what you're thinking about these videos. If you like these week 3, if you like these weekly recaps and weekly picks videos, I'm having a lot of fun making them, having a lot of fun talking about them. It keeps me involved in the weeks because I really like this. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. And I will catch you in the next